Listen, it might be a little hostile, it might not be, but I'm a professional footballer, I played in loads of atmospheres, so.
It might be the fixture that Arsenal would, get
so?
one hand on that trophy.
I just couldn't believe what I was watching.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Pint-Sized Pressers. I'm Aisha Galati and I'm joined by Dan Bennett here at the wonderful venue that is Box Piccadilly in the heart of London. It's got everything you need for watching sports, so many screens. You can even come, play a bit of shuffleboard, a bit of darts, do some Christmas karaoke. It's the time of the year. Dan, you're going to get on the mic?
I better not. I think probably better for everyone else. I don't do that, to be honest. So
we'll see. After a few of these, you never know. Yeah. You never know.
One more of these, maybe.
Only one more?
Wow.
Cheap date? Okay. Well, without further ado, we will jump straight into the weekend's action because, as always, it's a cracker. A Christmas cracker? No, too early? It's only
still
late
in November.
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting carried away with my Christmas
too soon
jokes.
For that.
I'm getting
all the Christmas
away.
Decorations are up around here.
They're up everywhere. Yeah. All the Christmas lights.
It's too early still for me.
All right, Scrooge. I love a bit of Christmas personally, but we will jump straight to it with tomorrow's early kickoff, which is a crazy thing to say with a 3 p.m. But Manchester City take on Leeds United. Now, we've got to start with Man City's form. They've had 2 losses in the last week. Newcastle had a bit of a shocker in that match. And then again, midweek in the Champions League, another loss. It's not the form of City that we've come to expect, is it?
No, not at all. And I think they were deservedly beaten in both games. Obviously against Leverkusen, they made 10 changes. So I guess that's a bit of a kind of mitigating factor for why they lost. But against Newcastle, I think they deservedly lost. And I mean, there was a lot in the game after the game made of the supposed foul on Donnarumma, which I didn't really understand because looking at it, I didn't really think it was much of a foul. And it seemed like they were making a lot over something that wasn't really a big talking point. Obviously, it was a big talking point because the goal went in after it, but I didn't really get that. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's quite strange to make something so big out of something that was quite innocuous, really. And, they had a lot of chances, Man City, so you could say, it was quite end-to-end, and if City would have taken their chances, perhaps, they probably would have got something. But, I mean, I just think, they're quite vulnerable defensively, and I think Newcastle were deserving of their victory.
Yeah. No, it's hard to disagree. Well, Pep Guardiola was speaking ahead of the clash against Leeds this morning.
Erling Haaland obviously is having an incredible season for you, but in the Premier League, no other player has scored more than once. Is that a concern for you?
Not the main concern, but of course we have to more players, but in general, except the last game, we might many good things in terms of the game, in terms of defense, all the aspects that we talk, and of course, Erling is massively important, and the other ones as well.
Now, Man City have struggled without Haaland. We saw 10 changes midweek. Of course, Haaland was out of that team. How much are they relying on him? Are they relying on him too much?
I mean, it's easy to say that because he is just so good. And naturally, a player of that talent, you're going to miss him because he's just a freak. He's insane. He scores so many goals that the drop-off is going to be big. So it's quite easy to say that they're reliant on him, which they are. But, I mean, naturally, when you see he doesn't play, they are a much worse off team for it, I think. He makes such a difference when he plays through his goals, but also just the threat he poses and the space he frees up for other players. So I think they don't really have a replacement for him, which is they're not going to because he's Erling Haaland. But when he plays, they're just much better off, aren't they?
They are. They really are. I mean, so much of Man City being so exceptional in recent times is just because of him, and it's hard to avoid that.
Yeah, and there's the games he hasn't played in this season. I went to the game against Swansea in the Cup, and they won that game, but they made it a lot harder than it needed to be, and they were just missing Erling Haaland, and they're missing that focal point up top. So he will be back this weekend, I'm sure, and I'm sure Pep Guardiola will make plenty of changes again from the Champions League team in midweek. So see if they can get back to winning ways, which I think they will. That's my prediction.
You think they are?
It
Okay,
is.
well, Leeds sit in the relegation zone, City playing at home. I can't really see it going any other way.
Leeds have been pretty poor recently. They've struggled, and I think the changes Guardiola made obviously were punished for in midweek, but I think that's actually going to be a help this weekend because they'll have a more rested team, and I think he'll go back to the sort of tried and tested of the previous Premier League games.
So double win for City from both of us.
Yes.
Probably a good time to plug our wonderful predictions quiz that is on our website. Do give it a go. If you've got your predictions for the weekend's action, let us know. Let us know in the comments. Go do the quiz and see if you can do a better job than us, which isn't hard to do. I'll tell you that.
My record on this is pretty shocking.
Pretty shocking. Well, onwards to the next fixture of the weekend. Tomorrow night, Spurs take on Fulham. It's not been a good time for Spurs either, has it? 2 losses. In fairness, against pretty formidable sides in Arsenal and PSG. So maybe not fair to measure a whole season against those two things. But let's hear from Thomas Frank because he gave his take on that loss in today's press conference.
I'm happy, very happy that, not happy, I'm pleased that the performance and response we got from the players against PSG. I think we did the aggressivity in the high pressure, the forwardness, the intensity we played with should have earned us a point or points against PSG.
Thomas Frank there talking about the positives that they can take from the midweek game. Now, I don't want to be a bit of a killjoy, but you lost 5-3.
Yeah.
And you're taking positives. Is the bar too low for Spurs at this moment?
Yeah, it does feel like a little bit like clutching at straws. You know, obviously the PSG game was always going to be a bit of a free hit because they're the reigning Champions League winners and they're arguably the best team in Europe, or certainly one of them. So it's no great shock or great disaster that they lost that game. And because they, you know, there were parts where they played quite well. You know, they were ahead and they scored 3 goals, but yeah, they did still lose 5-3. So I don't think we should be getting too carried away with it.
Shipping 9 goals in 2 games is not a place you want to be, really, is it?
No, and I think, you know, there was a lot made of like the defensive improvement that Thomas Frank has made in this squad, and I think he has done. I think, you know, take the last 2 games out of it, they are most definitely better defensively this season compared to what they were last season because they were a shambles defensively last season. So I think maybe he's not quite got the credit for the improvement he's made to the defence that he probably deserves. But yeah, even though they scored 3 goals against PSG, and it's, you know, you look at the goals conceded, you might think the defence is a bigger issue, but I still think attacking is where they've got to improve.
Right, so all over basically.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go too hard on Spurs, but they've got a lot of improvement to do, and I think he knows that. You know,
yeah,
he's gonna know that. Like, I think he said as much anyway. That, you know, I think the frustrating thing is for Spurs fans is like they probably results maybe even might outperform the performances. If that makes sense. You know, the results maybe are better than the performances, or at least level, which is, you know, the performances just haven't been there either.
He's got the option of turning to the youngsters as well. Like, what would you make of those options for him?
Yeah, I wonder if that might be the way to go now because, you know, we saw like Lucas Bergvall and Archie Gray play, and obviously they've still got a long way to go. They've got a lot of development to make, but I think they've got a lot of really exciting young players, and the only way young players improve is by playing games, right? So even though they might, you know, the inconsistency of playing young players might affect them now, like they're still struggling a bit anyway, so it's like, are they going to be that much worse off if they play the young players, and then in the future, you know, they've got young players with more, or older players but who have had more game time and they've developed for all the games they've played, which might benefit them more in the future. So I wonder if that's the way to go now, maybe for Spurs, but we'll see. Right,
give me your prediction. They're hosting Fulham.
Yeah, I think
Tottenham
Fulham had a
Stadium.
good win against Sunderland last time, and I think Fulham's performances are probably deserving of a few more results. I think they're probably in a lower place than they should be. And Spurs have struggled at home against some teams. You know, I mean, they didn't even beat Wolves at home, which is some going not to do that. So I think it could be a draw again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Spicy.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for a Tottenham win here. I back Thomas Frank as a manager. If he thinks they're improving. You know, he's taking positives from that midweek.
Yeah, and
I'm going to go with it and keep going on
I
those
hope it works
positives.
for him, 'cause
I think Spurs are going to get
he's a
the
really good
result.
guy and he's a good coach, and I think, like you said the other week, that he knows how to build a club and a team, and I just think he needs a bit of patience and the chance to do that, really, because he's only had one transfer window.
Absolutely. Well, we'll move on to Sunday's action, and we've got Crystal Palace taking on United in the early 12 o'clock game. Now, Palace are in 5th at the moment. United sit 10th. I want to talk a bit about United because it was only last month that Ruben Amorim won Manager of the Month. Now, that feels a million miles away, having seen recent performances. They've not won in 3 games. It was 2 draws, and I think the one we have to home in on is Monday night's loss against Everton, a 10-man Everton for most of the game. That was a bit disappointing, or more than disappointing. It was dismal, really.
I think you're being you're being like me for Burnley. That I've praised Burnley probably a bit too much on this show. It was dreadful. Yeah, so bad. And I think, you know, you look at the couple of draws and say, okay, they're a bit disappointing. They would have liked to have won those games, but it just seems like they've taken a whole step back now after that game against Everton. And I know it's only one game, but it was so bad.
Yeah.
You know, Everton got the red card in the first half. You know, one of the weirdest
wild, by the way.
red cards I've ever
Absolutely
seen.
wild.
Yeah, that's not happened too many times in the Premier League when a teammate fights his own teammate. So, but I just didn't really understand. You know, I'm not a football manager. I've only ever played Football Manager on my laptop, right? That's the only experience I've got of coaching a team. I just didn't really understand what they were trying to do. You know, they left so many defensive players on the pitch, and they had Luke Shaw playing as the sort of left central defender. I just don't understand why he wasn't bombing forward more down the left-hand side, and why they weren't committing more bodies forward, and why they were being so pedestrian, moving the ball sideways. It was just, you know, I'm not a United fan, but it was just infuriating to watch.
It's something we've seen a lot in the Amorim era, I think. You know, a lot of criticism about being too defensive, like why playing 3 centre-backs in certain scenarios. We mentioned the Grimsby game before.
Yeah.
It's like
No, that was exactly the same.
scenarios.
It was like, I just didn't really understand. I know he's loyal to the system and everything, but why you don't need to, you know. I mean, you know, if the defenders in the back 3 were, you know, bombing forward and underlapping, like I think Chris Wilder's Sheffield United back in the Premier League, that when they used to do that. And
well, that's the bar.
Well,
we're going United aiming to be
I mean,
Sheffield
Sheffield
United. That's where we're at.
8th that season, I think. So
That
United would
is
take
the
8.
ambition, yeah.
100%. So if they were doing that, then fine. You know, it's not all about the system, but it was really strange to watch, and it just seemed like that performance and that result has just zapped all the positivity that was around the club, and now the pressure's back on again, which is, you know, he's a Man United manager. There's always going to be pressure, but that was so disappointing.
Amorim mentioning in his press conference today that Cunha is out still. Of course, Sesko out too. They're struggling up top.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Cunha's a big miss. Shame he's not going to be back. And Sesko as well. You know, I think he's done quite well, and he's going to be out for a little bit longer. So I think Cunha should be back for the game after this one. So that's not too bad an injury, but they really missed those against Everton, and, you know, there was a lot bigger problems. You can't just blame the injuries to the attacking players for that result, but I don't think Joshua Zirkzee brings what Cunha or Sesko does.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can push Ahmad forward, and you've got kind of Mbeumo playing there as well, and then Zirkzee up top. You know, it's still a decent front 3 that should be able to win games, but it just kind of upsets the balance of the whole team, and I think it's a shame. So I think Cunha was starting to get a bit of momentum going as well, so he's a big miss.
And I want to mention Crystal Palace because they're kind of flying under the radar a little bit. They're 5th in the table. They lost last night in Europe, but that was their first loss in a month since Arsenal. So, you know, they're doing well.
Yeah.
How far do you think they can go this season?
I think they'll do. Yeah, I think they can go far. I think, like, because we've kind of become so used to them being so good, it's
true.
almost accepted now. You know, they've been
but lost like their best player.
Yeah, it's you know, and I think Pino, he's come in and done really well, and he's filled that that position that Eze had. So yeah, I think I expect them to carry on doing well, and I mean, I'm probably going to spoil my prediction here, but I think they'll do well this weekend as well.
You going for it?
Yeah, Palace win.
Palace win?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think they're a better team than Man United.
I agree with you, but
especially with Cunha and Sesko, I think Palace are a better team.
I'm going to go for a draw.
Okay, I'll take that. Yeah, we'll see.
I'll just go a bit different to you. I don't know if I actually feel that, but let's see.
We have to remember these and do them in our quiz as well.
Yes,
later.
we do.
If we start predicting different things to what we've said here, it'll be all over the place.
Another exciting match on Sunday. We've got West Ham against Liverpool. Now, is this a bottom table clash?
I mean, the way Liverpool are going, it will be soon. I think, they're 12th at the moment.
They're 12th,
so
yeah, and Liverpool and West Ham, of course, 17th.
They're not quite at the
Not
bottom
quite,
of the table.
no,
but
still mid-table.
if they
but
carry on, they will be.
It's not been good for Liverpool, has it?
I mean, I'm going to this game as well, so I'm looking forward to it. But I watched the PSV v Liverpool v PSV game in the week, and I just couldn't believe what I was watching. I mean, you can say, that it's been bad for a few weeks, and it has. So maybe I should have expected Liverpool to struggle, but it was so bizarre from where they were last season to where they are now. When I watch Liverpool, everything seems so frantic and rushed, and to do that you need to be top intensity and you need to outrun the other teams. And in the first half, they were probably edged it and were the better team, but they just got outrun by PSV in the second half. And PSV are, a good side. I think they're top of the Dutch league and they've got some good players, but they're not like a physically strong, direct team. If they were there for the taking, I think. And Liverpool missed chances, but PSV were just energetic, and Liverpool just looked tired and flat in the second half, and they just completely outrun them. And
PSV really wanted it a lot more than Liverpool.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a mental or whether it's just a physical thing or a mentality thing, but they are so far away from what they were last season. And we can talk about, I mean, probably not all the reasons, because we haven't got that long, but it's just, and it's also kind of hard to just figure out how it's gone so wrong, because you can kind of accept a bit of a drop off, but the significance of this is just, it's crazy.
I think there is also an element of getting the wind beneath your wings and just going with it. The way Liverpool were last season, they kind of became uncatchable quite early on, a lot earlier on than people thought they would be. And that momentum just really drives you. And here, this season, they've just not got any sort of build-up of momentum.
No.
And it's just the total opposite. And that kind of down feeling just keeps getting them down.
It's confidence, isn't it? Yeah, it rubs off on you. And I mean, like I said, I'm not a football manager, I'll say it again, but it just seems to me that they're playing too frantically and it's all a bit messy and a bit all over the place. And I thought last year they were a lot more controlled. You look at how Arsenal and Chelsea play, who have been the best two teams in the league this year. They keep the ball a lot more and they play with a lot more control. And Liverpool have had a lot of possession this year, but I mean, I was looking earlier, like they are by far and away top of the table for progressive passes, so passes forward. And you'd probably say spin that as a good thing, but they're like 100 more than Newcastle, who are second, which, I don't know, it just kind of suggested to me maybe they're rushing it too much.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine, because when you're good at it and you take your chances and you're constantly going at the opposition, you can batter teams.
Yeah.
But they're vulnerable defensively. I don't really think they can afford to be going so gung-ho. I think they've got to rein it in a bit. And I think, heard Jamie Carragher and other pundits say, maybe just go a bit more back to basics. I think that would possibly be the way forward for Liverpool.
Well, our reporter Nazira Youssef heard from Arne Slot today at Liverpool's training ground.
Arne Slot has held his press conference ahead of Liverpool's trip versus West Ham on Sunday. Liverpool coming to this fixture having lost 9 out of 12 in all competitions, and the pressure is definitely mounting on the Liverpool head coach. However, he has responded with a very defiant message and the backing from his owners, FSG. And here is what he had to say.
I know obviously last night you said that you hadn't spoken to Richard Hughes or any of the ownership group last night, but have you been able to since, and if so, what those conversations been like? Has the support that you spoke about last night been reiterated to you?
Yeah, we've had the same conversations as we've had since I'm here. And as I'm not sure if I said it last night, but we fight on and we try to improve. That's what we all try. But the conversations have been the same as they've been for the past 1.5 years.
He's talking in his press conference. He mentions he's got the support of the owners. He shouldn't be worried about his job just yet.
I think so. I mean, I think he just said that the conversations have been the same as always, and obviously he's not going to tell us what those conversations were, but he won the league a few months ago. I know it's
amazing how quickly things change in football,
honestly,
though, isn't it?
But this is kind of why we love football, right? Obviously not if you're a Liverpool fan at the moment, but because it's so unpredictable. I had Liverpool to win the league again this season. I thought the signings they made, and I just thought they'd run away with it again, but it's bizarre. It's so strange, isn't it?
Something has not
we've
been
talked about
clicking.
some of the reasons, and obviously the new signings and injuries, and obviously the grief that they had to deal with from Diogo Jota passing away. All these things, can add up to it, but it's still so difficult to put your finger on just why it's gone so wrong.
Yeah. Okay, West Ham at home in this one against Liverpool. Which way do you see this one going? Do you want me to go first?
Go on. Yeah, you go first.
I think Liverpool. I've actually gone for a lot of draws today, but I'm going for another draw. I think I think it's going to be a draw.
Yeah, I mean, West Ham have actually picked up a bit recently, and also PSV weren't really sit back and counter-attacked, and they caused a lot of problems for Liverpool.
It's not a good time for Liverpool.
No, but we watched what Sean Dyche did to Liverpool last week as well, by playing the direct counter-attacking football. So I think West Ham might win.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Okay, bold.
Not convinced by Liverpool at all, obviously. And I'm going to go for it. I wouldn't have said that a few weeks ago.
No.
Where West Ham were and where Liverpool were. So how quickly things can change.
How quickly things can change, indeed. Well, the next match of the weekend, it's Sunday night. It's the late kickoff, 4:30. Chelsea face Arsenal. Now this is juicy.
Yeah.
This is a tasty, tasty tie. Chelsea could go 3 points behind Arsenal if they win this game, which actually, the way people are talking about Arsenal having run away with it, that would be huge.
Yeah, I think people don't really. Obviously, it's still early in the season, so that's a big part of it. But maybe it's gone underappreciated just how close Chelsea could get. 3 points if they win this game, which would be massive for them, and their hopes. I mean, it's sort of like this time last season that we were talking about Chelsea being title contenders, and then it all sort of fell away in the second half of the season. But I don't think they're as far away as some people seem to think they are.
Yeah.
I think they've got some world-class players. Cucurella, I think, one of, if not the best fullback in the world right now. Left back, definitely one of them. Moises Caicedo is one of the best defensive midfielders in the world. Esteval's a future star in the making, who we're going to talk about in a bit. Cole Palmer, who we'll also talk about because he's coming back. They've got some really good players, and I think it's going to be obviously tough this weekend, but I don't think they're as far away, as I said, as some people think they are from really challenging for the league and maybe winning it.
Yeah, I want to talk about Esteval because midweek, what a statement against Barcelona.
Yeah, amazing, yeah. Such a good player, and I think we spoke about him a couple of weeks ago. He's the real deal, and how he's just taken English football and obviously the Champions League as well by storm, but he just continues to show what a good player he already is, and I think will be in the future. And I think obviously Maresca's been quite careful with him so far. He's brought him in quite cautiously and rotated him a bit, but it would be really good just to see him get a real run of games now and just show us what he can do, especially this weekend against Arsenal, the best team in the Premier League, just to put him out there and, see if he can cause Arsenal some problems. I think that's the time to do it.
Yes, well, we heard from Enzo Maresca earlier today ahead of this huge tie.
Cole hasn't played since September. You said many times he's the best player. What kind of a contribution he can give, and how much do you think he can elevate the level of the team that is already high?
Yeah, a lot. Is as you said, probably our best player. We are happy that he's back now. We need to give him time, to be 100% fit. But he has done fantastic in the past, and no doubt that he's going to do very good for this club in the future.
Well, we mentioned Esteval. Maresca there talking about how Cole Palmer is his best player. I mean, it's hard to argue with that, right?
He is, yeah. I agree with Maresca.
I hope
Shock.
I hope
that's your headline.
Yeah, I hope his toe's doing all right.
Yeah, I hope so.
FIFA celebration, was it?
I don't know, yeah. It was all very, very strange, yeah. All very, very odd of what happened there. But, yeah, that's massive.
Yeah.
Having him back. Really looking forward to seeing Cole Palmer play again. It's been September the last time we saw him. Obviously, he had that groin injury, and then he was about to come back, and then he had the toe thing, which has stopped him for 2 or 3 games from coming back. But now, he's available to start as well, which is quite surprising. Given he's not played for so long. So it's and what a game to come back into as well, just when they need him most, probably.
Yeah, it'd be good to see a good run of form.
And we haven't really seen Palmer and Esteval together yet, which I'm really excited to see that as well. I think obviously Palmer, if he plays that number 10 role, he kind of pulls out to the right where Esteval will play, and I think that could be a really good partnership. So it'd be good to see that sort of develop as well.
Well, of course, Arsenal, another team who had a huge statement win in Europe in midweek against Bayern Munich. They were so impressive in that game, weren't they?
Yeah.
That second half especially.
So obviously, I don't think they needed another confidence boost, but after the North London derby win over Tottenham, but they got one, beating. I think Mikel Arteta called Bayern Munich the best team in Europe after the game.
Yeah.
And they're certainly one of them, and to beat them so convincingly was just another sort of, reaffirmed what a good team Arsenal are at the moment.
Yeah.
I think, maybe Arsenal probably are the best team in Europe, to be honest, in my opinion. I think I mentioned PSG earlier, but you look at the way Arsenal play now, I think certainly they could be deemed the best team in Europe. Maybe Arteta doesn't want to say that because he doesn't want to, hype up his own players too much, want to keep the expectation in control. But
there were those juicy ties midweek, right? Like
yeah,
this
it was
new
a great
format
week
of the Champions League, like
Yeah,
Chelsea, Barcelona, and Arsenal against Bayern. Like I feel like that was enough to.
Yeah, I'm sort of torn on it.
Yeah,
it's like I kind of like the old group format, but I guess the benefit of this is you do get a lot bigger ties, which is kind of what they wanted, I guess. So
it gives them a measure as well. We're talking about best team in Europe, and actually you're not really figuring that out normally in the Champions League in the previous format until later on.
True, yeah.
And here it's like they actually, might face one of these teams again later down the line, and they've already had a measure of them.
Yeah, that is the benefit, I suppose, that you're playing these really good European teams earlier on in the competition, just so you, like you said, you can kind of gauge yourself against them, which maybe you didn't have so much in the past, but. I think it was really good for Arsenal because, we know how good they've been in the Premier League. They've already beaten some very good Premier League sides. Obviously they drew with City and lost to Liverpool. But to beat a side like Bayern Munich, a top side, so convincingly is like real boost for them, I think.
Absolutely. Well, our reporter, James St Dennis, was at the Arsenal training centre today and he heard from Mikel Arteta.
Arsenal seem to like this fixture in recent years. The last 7 games, Arsenal have won 5 and drawn 2 against Chelsea. What is it about this fixture that seems to bring the best out of you and your players?
I don't know. Obviously, it's a big game. It's a big London derby. We're going to play a really, really good opponent. They are in really good form. And yeah, we know the challenge. We know the opportunity that we have as well on Sunday. So we are fully ready for it.
It's going to be a good game on Sunday. What do you see as the key matchups?
I think, there's quite a few, obviously, but it'd be interesting to see how Saka gets up against Cucurella. So I think Cucurella did an unbelievable job on Lamine Yamal in midweek. And, he sort of had a bit of a tough time when he first came to Chelsea, but I think he's such a good player, Cucurella. So if he can keep Saka quiet, I think that's going to be a massive plus in Chelsea's column. So that will be, very interesting. And then we'll see for Arsenal as well. I think he said earlier, potentially we'll see if Havertz and Gyökeres could maybe come back. So I think that would give them an added maybe decisive boost because I think Mikel Merino's been doing a really good job up front for Arsenal. But in these games, I think you need your proper number 9. And if Gyökeres could come back or even Havertz as well, that could make a big difference. So, we'll wait and see. Arteta typically coy on team news and not giving too much away. So, but I think that could make a big difference as well if one of those is available or both.
And another storyline we've got, Nonu Madueke returning to his former side. And in fact, we were able to catch up with him in the mix zone earlier this week.
How do you think it's going to feel going back to your old club in Arsenal Red and just playing your game at the Bridge where you were there for so long?
Yeah, listen, it might be a little hostile, it might not be, but I'm a professional footballer, I played in loads of atmospheres, so I don't know if anything will faze me. I'll just be focused on the task at hand from the manager. I think so.
Madueke giving his thoughts there about returning to see his former side Chelsea. Now, how do you think the move has gone for him overall?
Very well. Obviously, he had the injury, which is, but in terms of when he's actually played and been on the pitch, he's looked really good. Yeah. Obviously, it's now he's come back and Saka's fit. They've kind of got that competition, but maybe Madueke could play out on the left as well. Although I do think he's better on the right flank. But yeah, I think. Seems when he's been on the pitch, he's sort of been able to go up to another level this season. I think there was always a bit of frustration at Chelsea that he wasn't quite reaching the potential and that he was capable of consistently, although he was probably their best winger and one of their best players last season. So it's been, I think, a really good signing for Arsenal, despite, a lot of people saying, why are they signing him? And a lot of angry reaction about that signing in the summer. But yeah, really good. And I think, just the business Arsenal have done in general. Obviously, Eze hat-trick last week, we should probably mention that as well. Unbelievable player.
So good.
I was covering QPR when he was there, his last season there, quite a lot, and he was just you could tell he was going to go far. And I spoke to caught up with their old manager Mark Warburton, who managed Eze at QPR earlier this year, couple months ago and was just talking for a piece about Eze and was just talking to him, and he said, like, you know, there was big clubs in for him back then, like.
Yeah.
You know, big clubs were interested for whatever reason. Maybe they didn't feel like he was quite ready, didn't want to throw all that money at someone who's not proven in the Premier League. So Crystal Palace ended up getting him. But yeah, I mean, he's been ready for a while, and I'm just pleased for him that he's finally showing now what he's capable of. And yeah, he's been a real difference maker for Arsenal as well.
What an incredible player, and what a moment for him last
brilliant.
weekend
So
to get
good,
that hat trick. It was
so lethal from like the edge of the box, isn't he? He's such a good finisher as well.
3 amazing goals. Yeah.
Like if he gets space around the edge of the box, like he's so lethal. Like I think maybe that went a bit underrated. Like when they signed him, like
he's so calm and composed in those situations as well. Honestly, the amount of like actual out and out strikers who just like struggle with that finish.
Yeah.
And
he's not someone who's like consistently involved. Like he's not like Saka, where he's constantly picking the ball up and running at opposition, but it's in the moments. Like he really makes the moments count. Like he's decisive, which is why he went for the money he did, because he's a player that can make the difference in those games, as he did last week.
Absolutely. Well, we've got a few other games happening this weekend, of course. But before we jump onto those, I want your prediction for Chelsea Arsenal. This is tight.
Really tough.
This is really close.
It's a bit boring, but I might go with a draw.
Okay.
Could see it being a draw, yeah. I think it'll be, both sides got very good defensive records. I think it'll be very intense, closely fought. So I will go for a draw in this one. What about you?
I think this might be the fixture that Arsenal would, get
so?
one hand on that trophy.
Oh, I thought you were going to go the other way.
No.
Say, okay.
I think they're going to get one hand. I think they're going to win.
Yeah.
I see them winning.
If I had to lean one way or the other, I would go with Arsenal.
I think like that, the confidence they have got from 2 massive wins, against Spurs, and then midweek as well. I think they're going to do it.
And they're flying high, aren't
they?
They're
flying.
Yeah.
They're flying. Right. The last of the fixtures, we've got Brentford against Burnley. I just want really quick fire here.
Yep,
Who's going to win?
For it. I have to say win, no draw.
No, you give me a draw.
No, I'll say win. I went Brentford last week and they didn't win, so I'll go Brentford again and hope they do win.
You're not sticking with your Burnley, your team Burnley?
Burnley fanboy over here. No, I'll go Brentford.
I'm going to go Brentford too on that one. Sunderland, Bournemouth. 7th v 8th.
Yeah,
juicy.
They both hit a bit of a...
This is the one which was like the longest journey, the longest travel time.
Yeah, it probably is.
In the league. Must be.
Yeah,
must be.
I would have thought so. They both hit a bit of a bump in the road recently. Draw.
Okay. I'm going to go for Sunderland win. They're at home. Everton, Newcastle.
Yeah, that's quite an interesting one.
Yeah.
I'll go Newcastle, I think. I'm buoyed by the sort of win over Man City last week.
I'm going to go Everton, buoyed by the United result.
Yeah, as long as their players don't start fighting each other again.
Actually, I really want them to.
Moyes said he quite liked it. Yeah, he was like, I quite liked it. Quite like it. Well, shows a bit of passion, but I'm not sure about the red cards are going to be too beneficial for the team. But
it was crazy.
Such a good response. I love that.
Yeah.
But I was also quite pleased.
Aston Villa against Wolves.
Villa.
It's got to be a Villa win this one. Yeah.
I feel like Wolves have got to win a game at some point, right? Like they're not going to go all season winless. Like they are going to win it. But every time we do this, and you say,
you're like, it's not going to be that game. Yeah.
Like, I can't see them winning.
No.
And Villa are a good side, aren't they? So I think Villa.
And finally, Forest against Brighton.
Forest, I think.
Yeah.
On a revival under Sean Dyche. I think they're unbeaten in 5. So looking pretty good. I'll go Forest.
I'm going to go for a draw on that one.
Playing it safe.
Yeah, I'm a bit. I've done quite a few draws this week.
Yeah.
It's quite.
I always forget what we predicted, but I look back and I think you predicted, record high draws this week.
Let us know your predictions as always. Okay, Dan, that brings us on to our regular feature. Who is going to be your pint-sized partner this week? Who do you want to go for a pint with?
Well,
although you've not even pointed out, I'm on the orange juice today.
She's got a cold. Cole Palmer's
Cole
back.
Palmer.
She's got a cold. She's on the orange juice. I wasn't going to say anything, so I didn't want to embarrass you.
Didn't want to out me. It's got to be done. No shame.
My orange juice partner this week will be...
Not quite got the same ring to it, has it?
I think Idrissa Gueye. I know we spoke about it earlier, but
there we go. Well,
I think that would be great just to find out what was going through his head when he decided to. I mean, you could say maybe the referee shouldn't have sent him off, and it wasn't quite as bad as the red card made it look. But like, you can't be doing that on the pitch, going after your teammate.
Well, that is linked to mine. I've gone for Michael Keane.
There you go.
Because
So what? Idris again, Michael.
I mean,
Keane?
let's all go together, get
Yeah.
around the table, let's hash it out. I think they have been doing a bit of boxing in training.
Have
so,
they?
Yeah. Maybe
Like,
they can hash it out over a pint.
allowed this time, I hope, not just like having another fight.
Not just knocking each other out. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like
I'm
see
sure
it-
it's all love.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's fine now. Like, I think
But that is
he apologised after and like,
what a moment.
yeah, I think Moyes said it after that. You kind of want that a bit, like, really, you've just given the ball away. You could have cost us a goal. Like, there's got to be that kind of competitiveness, but it can't be going that far. Like when you're pushing your teammate and like Pickford tried to get involved as well, and then Pickford's trying to hold him off, and it's just a real bad look, isn't it?
It looked like a brawl
Yeah.
at like 3 a.m. Saturday night, rolling out the pub. Like that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
And anyway, we can do a 3
Yeah,
a.m.
there's
at
not
the pub
been-
with both of them, and there you
it's
go.
drink involved. I don't think that's going to help things. But there's been quite a few of those situations over the years. Like obviously the big one, Kieran Dyer and Lebo. Yeah, that was but that was a proper punch up. That was really.
I don't
feisty,
think it was
but
all love there.
No,
on that one.
no. I mean, they had to come out and shake hands after, and they got all the photographers there to take a picture of them, and it looked very forced and very uncomfortable. So, but like it happens quite a lot, but you don't really see the red card. But I guess by the letter of the law it was. Because
Yeah, it was the raised hands, wasn't it? Yeah.
So, but you don't see that. Yeah, you don't see that every week. So
You definitely don't.
Definitely the big talking point of last week, I think.
Definitely. And an honourable mention for someone else who I'd quite like to go for a pint with this week, who is Eze. We already mentioned him, but
yeah.
just mainly because I think he deserves a pint after that performance last weekend.
Yeah, I'm not sure he.
Probably
Mikel Arteta probably
I
went
don't
to say
think
the
Mikel
same.
Arteta would let him,
Yeah,
but
he'd
he
probably say
deserves one.
different,
He
yeah.
deserves more than one. Anyway, let us know who your pint-sized partner is. As always, who do you want to go for a pint with? Thank you for joining us for a pint of beer, orange juice, whatever you're having this week. Enjoy it. Do get yourself down to Box Piccadilly to watch all your sport this weekend. It's a great venue, so much on offer. It really is the best place to watch sport in London. Thank you, Dan, for joining me, as
Thank you.
always. Looking forward to the weekend of amazing Premier League action, and we will see you same time next week. Thanks for watching.